like in the scene, he's like stretching out. It's like he's a butterfly unfurling and like learning to be himself.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to No Drama, Just Movies, and we are back this week with another review. Please give our channel a lovely little subscribe to stay tuned with all the content we release each and every week in the world of TV and movies. My name is Cameron, live with Murray Franklin, Kelly Smith, and I'm joined by my esteemed colleague here.
I forgot mine. Phil, the artist formerly known as Arthur Corbin.
Oh, that's right. If you haven't guessed it by now, we are here to re-review none other than Todd Phillips' Joker, the 2019 release, obviously off the heels of Joker Folie Deux that came out a few weeks ago. We figured, why not re-review the 2019 Joker to remind ourselves if it truly is, at least what I called, a modern day masterpiece. And well, I don't know what you called it at the time. This was long before this channel even came into existence, but here we are. So I'm gonna simply ask that question. After watching Joker Folie Deux and now watching the first one again, did watching the first one again after seeing the sequel, has that changed anything for you specifically with this movie?
I don't know. I don't think so. I think just watching it again after such a long time, because I think I only watched it once when it came out, maybe twice right after. Um, but like just yeah, rewatching it after such a long time has changed how I've viewed it and like just the extra bits that I was able to pick up. Um, I don't know if it like the only thing, yeah, I would say that made more sense to me is just like doing the second one as a musical. Because you just see again how important music and dancing and all that is for Arthur. So yeah, that's the only thought I think. What about you though?
Yeah. Do you know what? Like when this movie came out, I said that it was a masterpiece. I think I actually even gave it a 10 out of 10. Like I actually absolutely adored the first Joker. And I'm happy to report that I still adore it and I still hold it incredibly high.
Mm.
The only thing that I am questioning with myself now after watching it again all these years later is that if you remove the link to Batman,
Yeah.
if there was a way that as a if I could have come in as a non-comic book fan, as a non-Batman fan, and saw this movie, not knowing who the comic book character of the Joker is, not knowing anything about the Batman universe, how I would perceive it, how I would see it. And that's something that's on my mind. And I don't know if obviously that's not something I can really do. But I am intrigued to see if maybe look at some other testimonials of people maybe who perhaps if they really know anything about Batman or Joker, maybe was able to go in cold and their reaction to it. But I do wonder because I think the thing about this movie that I really appreciate is that you're kind of getting the best of both worlds. You know, when this movie was first announced many years ago, I think a lot of people went, ah, damn, I mean, here DC goes again, trying to do, their little offshoot movies, and here we go with Joker, a solo Joker movie. Everyone's like, okay. And then, as once the trailer came out, and once we started to get an idea of this movie, it was like, huh, okay, wait, this is nothing like what we expected. This is
Mm.
coming like a real um artistic approach, should we say, a much more grounded and realistic approach as to what Joker could be. However, I think that as a comic book fan, you get the best of both worlds. If you're a fan of Batman and that character, you get to enjoy that element of it, the little tidbits or Easter eggs or, the Thomas Wayne, the crime alley shooting. You get to experience that while at the same time getting to experience this like beautifully told story about someone suffering. We're gonna get into. I might as well just ask you now, since I have you here. Um,
Since I turned up.
yeah, I think one of the things I noticed towards the end of this movie is that the question does come in as to whether is this somebody who's suffering from mental health difficulties, and as a result, that is what is causing them to act this way,
Mm.
or is it the world itself that surrounds him that has caused him to act this way and become the Joker, or is it a amalgamation of both, or is one being weighed heavily over the other, or is one not given as much attention over the other? What's your thoughts?
So I'm glad you asked that because on the second, like when it first came out, it was I think the question of does this glorify violence and like what is this film actually about? And like I think a lot of people took away like how awesome this Joker is and everything. Um, I on the second view, I think this is a story about someone who is suffering from mental health issues, 'cause depression, I'm guessing, um, if not something like more severe, like, but who is left alone by the system, and finally finds something within himself that gives him the strength to fight back. And he uses that for violence, unfortunately. But I think it's yeah, it's that. It's not a glorification of the violence. It never like says, "Oh yeah, he killed those people on the subway. What a hero." Except maybe for his followers, but the film never says that, if that makes sense. So yeah, I think it's just a cautionary tale of here's a guy who was completely left alone, and he couldn't do anything but snap. You know,
Yeah.
you put a gun in someone like Jesus. Um, I'm getting a little bit emotional here. You put a gun in someone in that person's hand, like he's going to use it. Um, I don't think it's a matter of uh, all people with mental health are evil or something like that. I don't think it's a matter of all guns are bad. I think it's a matter of putting those two together. Um, just the whole melting pot of crap, I think. If that
Yeah,
answers.
that's actually a melting pot of crap. That's to be the title of this one. However, like I think you've really well put it there because I think that for anybody, right? If, in my opinion, at least thus far, I'm only 28 years old, so I'm still very much so a spring chicken. But I think that for anyone who has suffered, you mentioned someone who's suffering. I think that for anyone who's suffered in their life and has felt bogged down by just everything, any little thing, every person, everything, I think that it will be difficult for you to not feel something from this movie.
Mm.
Like you look at some of the lines of dialogue in this movie where he talks about, for example, he's talking to his therapist and he's like, you never listen.
Yeah.
Like you never listen to me. When there's other lines in this movie where he talks about, having never been noticed, that if he was the one who was gunned down in the street, they would just climb over his body and move on. And like I think it is an emotional movie because for anyone who has suffered, for anyone who has felt like life just feels grim and ugly and that everyone, there's a small line where he says in this movie that, that everyone is just so rude. Like, and that's a big thing because when you're not in a good mental space, somebody could say not look at you the wrong way. I remember there was a time when I wasn't feeling very good a couple years ago, and I held the door open for somebody and he didn't say thank you. And that was a big like I think it was kind of like a breaking point for me because and that's why I think they tell so well with this story, in the classic, killing joke, it's the whole thing, Joker was saying, that it just takes one bad day. And obviously that's a bit more, fantasy based, because no one then goes around, with, the gas bombs. Well, maybe, but fighting Batman and having a great time. But I think in this one it is told very well. And I think it's beautiful. I think it is that mixture of, and I think that's the thing. I don't want, and I think you pointed out pretty well. I don't want it to be a thing. I know people have said that where they feel like, they're mainly focusing on the mental health side of things and that it kind of feels like they are glorifying mental health or potentially not explaining it or taking great care of it. But I think that this is largely, in my opinion, someone, as you said, the system has failed him.
Mm.
And the system and the world around him, at least from to my opinion, has contributed far more to his mental health and as a result, getting him to where he gets to than anything else. Was there anything about the movie that you just really stuck out to you?
I yeah, love the dancing. Like there's two dance scenes that I think are by now iconic. Which is like the bathroom dance that he does, and then the stair dance towards the end when he dances down the stairs. And I love just like comparing the two with the music as well. Like you've got what's her name? Hildur Gudnadottir. I think
Oh,
I'm
look
gonna
at
yeah, I'm gonna
you.
do that. But
Very good score, by the way, in this movie. Just to point
absolutely
out, very good score.
as well. She got an Oscar.
Pardon?
She got an Oscar for it.
But
So.
there we go. Dreams
Um,
come true.
But you've got that score, which is very like it's not triumphant. It's just very it's slow. It's like lower key, I guess. I don't know, but it's very somber. And like in the scene, he's like stretching out. It's like he's a butterfly unfurling and like learning to be himself. And you compare that to like the scene when he comes down the stairs, which the song is amazing as well.
Mm.
Unfortunately, it's Gary Glitter, but you know, um,
Not a fan.
but yeah, it's like he's free. He's like his arms are wide. He's kicking and everything, and so there's just I think what I noticed or on this viewing, just how much the film tells his story through dance and through music as well.
Mm.
How much he uses that to just show his arc, as well as everything else.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, but also the first scene, I think, when he gets ready, puts on his clown
Yeah.
face, and you hear like in the background the radio telling you all these terrible things that are happening in Gotham right now, and he like has to put a smile on. And I think we've all kind of felt like that. I think we could all relate to like I don't know, having to go to work. And meanwhile, there's all this crap happening in the world, probably now more than ever. So like immediately the first image, I was hooked. I was into this film. So I think those are yeah, among others, but those are the three things that stuck out to me.
Yeah. I mean, also as well to highlight, you've been highlighting it, the score that really caught me this time. It's really phenomenal. And the performances, Joaquin Phoenix, man. Wow, like wow, like I was watching this and I was thinking, this guy, like he's just what a talent. Like we obviously reviewed, The Dark Knight many weeks ago, re-reviewed The Dark Knight, and obviously, talked about, Heath Ledger's performance of Joker, very different
Oh yeah.
incarnations of the character, miles apart. Well, I think miles apart, but but wow, what a performance! And seeing him like do what he's doing here, some of those sequences, like and those scenes, as you said, where he is dancing and there is no dialogue, there is no background noise. Like you're just watching it, and it's like how that I would be so it would have been so awesome to actually see that in person if you were there on set that day and just watching him film the scene or
Yeah.
watching him film some of these intimate scenes where he is by himself. Because just what a talent, honestly, man, just what a talent. And I was really, really impressed. Quick question. How did you feel about the wider, should we say, Gotham Easter eggs, should we say, that are in there? More so, specifically, the inclusion of the Waynes. What was your thoughts on that part?
So I didn't mind so much the inclusion of Thomas Wayne as like possible father, and he's the rich guy, and everybody hates the rich at this point. Um, but yeah, even Bruce, I think, just Joker trying to connect with his what he thinks is his brother. Um, but it kind of stopped for me in with the shooting his parents. I know you like an origin story in every adjacent film. But I could have done without that. I think I know why they did it to kind of show that his kind of rise and Joker's rise, his movement led to the death of Bruce's parents. But yeah, I would have liked it to just stay with Joker and just tell a much more contained story.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, one of the big things that has been widely discussed, including from Todd Phillips himself, is how you decide to interpret the movie. After seeing it this time, I personally, at least I go away with, at least right now, that how the movie was told is how it happened. That, especially as well after we, seen Folie à Deux, but I guess that's also up for interpretation as well. But if we're just focusing on Joker, I like to believe that how that film was told is how it actually happened. Once you reach the very final scene, though, it definitely does throw some more things up in the air. But I still think I go away feeling like how it happened is how it happened. What say you?
So the first time I watched it, I thought I knew which parts happened and which parts didn't. But then I saw a couple of things like people making comments about the film. It's like something like, why would Murray have a recording of Arthur Fleck in just some random comedy club?
Mm,
Like, did he send someone out to record this? So like, well, how does that make sense? Also, this idea of Thomas Wayne, like, is he really Arthur's father? Because there's this whole thing of Penny was actually like a little bit crazy and she made this whole thing up, but then at the end or towards the end, he sees the picture of Penny, I think, just Penny. And on the back is a message from Thomas Wayne, and I'm like, well, which part is true now?
mm.
Um, and now I'm happy with both parts or either parts or neither parts being true. Because that is, I think, very Joker. That you just don't know. Like you get a story, then you get a different version of the same story, and then you get a completely different story, and you're like, well, which one is it?
Yeah.
Can it be all of them? Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
So I really enjoyed this part this time around a lot more. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Well, that worked. Anything about this movie that you didn't like or didn't agree with you as much, especially after rewatching it now?
No, I don't think like it again, even the alley scene, or was it in an alley? The Batman's parents die, uh Bruce's parents die, sorry. Even that I can live with.
Hmm.
Because again, I know what it does in the larger scheme of the film. But I yeah, absolutely. I was on board for all of it, even the second time around.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that's the thing. Like, is the movie perfect? No, but does it feel perfect in my mind? Yes. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, you mentioned, for example, like one of the shots, and I like how it was well done, like that in that final scene where Arthur is there with the psychiatrist, or we presume to be a psychiatrist, and she asks him, what's funny, and he says, you wouldn't get it, and then you have the immediate shot that comes up of Bruce standing there with his parents being dead. And that was haunting. That was so haunting, but it was so beautifully well done. That you have, and the fact that he's not. You'd imagine. I don't know if at that point, he's probably aware that Bruce Wayne's parents are dead, but he doesn't give a damn, and doesn't know what that, at least in that world, may give rise to. You imagine that, obviously we'll never see it, but and I don't think the intention was for us to ever see it, but that what that foreshadows, and us as fans knowing that. Also as well, one of the sequences I really did enjoy is when he does see Murray for the first time. In on when he's there in his dressing room, and
Mm.
he asks Murray to announce him as Joker, and at first I think that if that is done in, if another director or another writer was potentially holding that, and we've seen many movies, where they finally reveal their name and it's like, damn, this was terrible how they revealed it. But this one is actually well done because he asks to be referred to as Joker. And, as an audience member, you're like, oh, okay, so you had to get the name Joker in here somewhere. But then he's like, no, that's how you referred to me when you put my video. And it's so well done and it's so smart. And the way that he looks at that point, like he's got a smile on his face because he knows what he's about to do. He knows that this is his freeing moment. And you're just really well done. I don't have any complaints
But
either.
I love the idea that like all his identity, Arthur's identity, gets stripped away. Like he finds out that he's not a Fleck. I think I remember that he's not even Arthur. Somebody else gave him that name, so it's like he gets
Man,
like,
he is not a Wayne.
and he's not a Wayne either. So he's He's at the end, he's nothing. Like even the party clown thing gets taken away from him. That the thing that he really identified with as well. So when I think when he does say like, "Can you announce me as Joker?" That is the identity that he takes on, and there's nothing else left by the end. He's not Arthur. He's not a Fleck. He's not a party clown anymore. He's just Joker. And that is brilliant as well, like for who the character is. I guess in the Batman comics or like the Batman lore. Do you think he's the actual Joker?
Obviously, for anyone who hasn't seen Folie à Deux, because obviously, clearly no one. Um, to answer your question, I think that after that first movie, I think it very much so is up for interpretation. After the second movie, I think that that answer then becomes no. I think that the second one, whether it's good or bad, kind of gives you a bit more of a definitive, I think, answer that 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 he does not end up. Put it this way, he does not end up being the Joker that stands toe to toe with Batman. I think that he more so leads as an inspiration for the eventual Joker, whether that be, spoilers, the one that we see at the end of Folie à Deux, or if it be someone else down the line. But he is the original. He is the Caesar, should we say, of his Joker Joker lineage. What say you?
Yeah, I never thought that he was the Joker. I always read the like in the title that they called it Joker, not the Joker, and that he says, "Introduce me," or "Can you introduce me as Joker, not the Joker?" I always took this. It could be like completely random, but yeah, I always took this as to mean that he's not the one that we know from the Batman uh, lore stories. That he's just an inspiration for them. And so yeah, the part in Folie à makes more sense to me, and I yeah, that he's just just a Joker somewhere around, and he spreads this idea of chaos and uprising.
Wait, well, that's it. I mean, that will do it for our review of the 2019 Joker. However, we have a review system scoring on this channel where we give our review a certain amount out of 10, but instead of just a number, we give it ICs. Obviously, Penguin, Vic, we love you. So it's over to you. How many ICs are we going to give Joker out of 10?
Oh, this was so easy. Because like, well, actually, a little bit harder because we only go to 10. So I can't give it more than 10. I would give it like everything. I would take ices off of other films and just slap them because like this film is everything. It was amazing. Like you said, a masterpiece. Yeah, 10 out of 10 ices. What else can I say?
I mean, it's easy for me too. 10 ICs out of 10. I mean, it is a masterpiece. It's great. I'm so happy to know that we have that this movie exists, that we can watch it again and again as the years go by. And I hope it stands up. I hope that, the what many feel the stink of Folie à Deux, has not left a bad enough taste in their mouths that this movie won't stand the test of time. But I really do hope it does. But that will do it for our review of Todd Phillips' Joker. We are No Drama Just Movies. If you like this review here, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, like, comment, share, drop down in the comment section below. Let us know what you think of Joker if you saw it back when it was released, or if you happen to have rewatched it in the wake of Joker Folie à Deux. My name is Cameron, live with Murray Franklin, Kelly Smith, and I'm joined by my esteemed colleague here.
Bill, the artist formerly known as Arthur Corwin.
Oh, that's right. We are truly followers of Joker. Thank you
We're
very much for
smiling.
checking out our review,
We're
guys.
smiling right now.
Oh, that's right. We're smiling. Let's put a smile on that face and like Arthur have a cigarette while we do it. Once again, guys, we are No Drama, Just Movies. Thank you for checking out our review today, guys, and we will see you very, very soon. Take care, guys.
Bye.